A number of people have asked how they can create a quick product video in InVideo. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if you want to be successful at this, it's best to get your information together. So here's a little example. Here are the key facts of a hand sanitizer liquid. There's a picture of it. And here of a dispenser. There's a picture of it. And here is the background I intend to use, and that's a COVID-19 germ. So I've prepared and thought about what I want to do before I explode into doing it. So I said key factors and product images. So if we go back to InVideo, oh, and just to show you quickly, this is the product, the first product that we're going to do, which is a 5-litre hand sanitizer bottle. So back to InVideo, and the first thing I'm going to do is add my client's logo, and this is real work we're looking at here. Can you see the importance? If you haven't got the blue square showing, you're going to end up with a massive great logo over the whole thing, because it will be added as an image, not as a logo. So I'm sizing my logo now by simply dragging a handle. And the first thing we're going to do is put 5-litre hand sanitizer as the text, and I'm going to drop a space between the 5-litre hand sanitizer, and I'm going to move that literally up to the top, and the bottom is aligned so it's in the center of the height of the logo. So 5-litre hand sanitizer. Now I've used my logo, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top, and you can see here I've got the two products, and I've got a copy of the image I want to use as a background. So I'm going to bring that on and drop that on, and that's going to go at the back. So if we look at our layers, we've got media image 1, and I'm going to rename that COVID background. Okay, and I'm going to rename this to the client's name CEL logo. The client is Catering Equipment Limited, hence CEL. Okay, so now I've built the basics. Now I'm going to add the product. So I'm going to drag the product on, and I'm going to add it as a layer, and I'm going to bring it over to the left, and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Okay, so now I've got a title, I've got a logo, and I've got a product. I'm a bit unhappy though with the title. It just needs to stand out a bit more, so I'm going to add a drop shadow to it, and you can see instantly that's lifted that completely and made it much more readable. So now I need to add my key fact texts, and I'm going to do that by going to text, and I'm going to add a subheading. This is my heading, so I want to add a subheading. Okay, and I'm going to put that there initially, and what I'm going to do is go into the grid and make use of the grid to line things up. Now the first thing I want to do is go to style, and I'm reasonably happy with the regular, but I'm going to make it semi-bold so it's a bit, just that bit stronger, and I'm also going to add the drop shadow to it. Okay, and then I'm going to nip over to my document where you saw it all before, and I'm going to copy the text. So I'm going to do Control C, I'm going to nip back to here, and I'm going to go text, and I prefer to edit the text here rather than on the page. So if I do Control V, click, you can see now I've got 5 litres of hand sanitizer, and I'm going to stretch it out, and it's too big now, so I'm going to go to Style, and I'm going to lock the font resizes, and I'm going to bring that down to 60 points. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do is left justify it. I might actually, if I nip back and have a look, it's not the longest, but it's not far off long, so I really can afford to make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to make it 66. Okay, so that's fairly good, and I'm going to line it up here. Now we can change the alignments afterwards. Now I've set all of the bits and pieces up, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate that. So I'm going to press Control C, Control V. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Let's press, so let's do Control. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to Layers, we're going to click on the layer, and we're going to do Control C, and then we're going to do Control V. I find that if you go and do it at the layer level, we'll worry about exact alignment afterwards. Now we want 8 of these, so I'm going to paste this 8 times. 8 times? Another 6 times. So I'm going to do Control C. Sorry. Screw that again. Control V. Pull it down. Control V. Pull it down. Control V. Pull it down. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Control V. So that gives me 6. And I'm gonna want 2 more, but I'm going to change the alignment a bit. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to take that to there. I'm going to bring that to there. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to do the same here. And I haven't got them exact. It doesn't take long to rearrange them afterwards. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Control V. 7. And Control V is 8. So as you can see, they're not quite perfect. So I'm going to just pull that up just that fraction more. I'm going to pull that up until the line is just underneath the previous one. That one's in the right place. That one can move up a little bit. This one can move up. I think that one wants to go slightly left. And you can actually use the grid as sort of a click point. And I think I picked the wrong one up there. So let's just take that to just below. Let's bring the other one and I'm going to put that out of the way, and I'm going to do this properly. Okay. And I'm going to grab this one and bring this one to just below, and then do the same here. Now that one just wants to come down just a tiny bit more. So now I've got 8 fairly equally spaced items, and they look horrible, but when you changed all the text, they will come fine. So my next task is to go back to here, and this time is to take that piece of text, so it's Control C, back to here, and this time I'm going to edit this one. And as I say, I prefer to paste it in over here. It's much easier to see what you're doing. And then I'm going to go back for my third piece of text. Control C, Control V, and again here, Control V. Okay. Just gonna close Outlook so we don't get any more beeps. So I'm going back. So 80% was my last one. Manufactured in Britain. Control C. Back. Control V. Oop. Control V. Next one. Control C. Control V. All right, I set 8 up and there's only 7. So I need to alter that a bit, don't I? Anyway, let's pop back. We'll do this. Control V. And then we'll bring the last one over, which is next day delivery. Control C. Control V. I obviously need to learn to count, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Now, what we can see straight away is that we've left quite a bit of gap down the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one. In fact, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to undo that move. I'm going to find out which is the longest. Yeah. And I'm going to shivvy that over to the right. Okay, now that's a bit too far, so I'm going to move it back and I'm going to make it fit there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with these others. I think I need to relearn how to use my mouse. And then what I'm going to do is just move them all down a bit. And the quickest way to make sure you move them all down the same amount is to use the down arrow key. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 17. So I'm going to do all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. I know this is a bit laborious, but it keeps them all the same difference apart. And the last one. Okay, but what I can do is move that up a little and pull that down a little, and I've increased the size of that, and then I'm going to move that in as well. So now I've got a reasonable looking advert, and if we play it, it really doesn't do a great deal, but now's the chance to add a little magnetism to the thing and to put some stuff on each line in terms of action. Okay, so if we look at our layers, we've got all our layers are named. You can even put an action on the logo if you want to, but we're going to leave our static. So the first thing we're going to add action to, if we go to the layers, oh, we still call it media image 1. I said let's change that to sanitiser. I like to name because it's easy to see then what you're playing around with. So what we've got there is, if we click on edit, we can do image animation, and I'm only going to bring it in. I'm not going to do any out animation or any other animation, because I want to have a static advert at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in from the left, and I'm going to bounce it in from the left, and I've got a 10-second ad here. That's all I want. I want it really quick in, and I'm going to bring that in 1.5 seconds. Okay, and what I am going to do is make sure it starts at the beginning, and I'm going to drag it to the end so that you can see the total length there. That's of the heading, by the way, that's not right. All the others, as you can see, fulfill the thing, although they don't. They have a 1/2 second delay. Oh, so now we've got to make our mind up. Do we actually want them to come in after 1/2 second? And I think if we do a quick play scene, they actually look quite good. And they're all coming in from the left as a single block. Now, I'm actually reasonably happy with that as a quick and dirty advert. But if you really wanted to, you could animate every line in a different way. Okay, but all of these lines are the same because that was what was the one, and we copied them all. Yeah, so again, you can see in from the left and as a whole. Okay, but you can change those to be characters, line, and manage your coming in as you want. And the one that's at the top, again, that's coming in as a whole fade in. I'm not mad about fade ins, so I'm going to bounce that in from up. Now, again, and I'm going to make that 1.5 seconds. So the whole idea here is to just make a really quick advert. And okay, this has taken us 20 odd minutes to achieve, but you've seen how it's done, and you too can play around and create a really quick advert. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to preview it. One last thing, I'm going to change the music. Okay, I want something bright, okay, dramatic even. So let's look at here. Maybe that's too dramatic. I quite like that one, so I'm going to select that one. So just changing the music on here. So what I'm going to do now is hit preview and export. Takes a few moments, and now I'm going to export the video.